Hello, everyone, and welcome to the first week of April. It is Monday, April 6th. I'm Belinda Ellsworth. So glad you are here. We are going to be talking about spring cleaning this entire week. And it's spring cleaning from a lot of different objectives. Spring cleaning for your home, which everyone is very familiar with. But today I specifically want to talk about spring cleaning for your business because you can do a spring reset for just about every area of your life, and business is equally as important as your home. Now, when spring comes around and we feel that everything is growing, everything is starting to bloom, the weather starts to shift, and we get this energy and we're excited about getting outside. We start even doing some of the outdoor tasks, getting outdoor furniture ready, getting your yard ready, getting some planting done, all of those things, start cleaning the windows, start opening up the home. And it's exciting and it's really great to do that spring cleaning, and you just feel really good. And you can do the same thing in your business and get that same sense of energy, renewal, and almost like it's a new year with your business as well. Many of you have heard me train on that the second quarter should really be treated like the fourth quarter of the year, and you could end up getting incredible results. And this kind of goes hand in hand with that. So I want you to think about that April, May, and June, the second quarter of the year, being like a strong push, and treat it just like it were the fourth quarter of the year. There's just as many or even more. We have one big holiday in the fourth quarter of the year, and that's predominantly Christmas, and everybody's thinking about that at the same time, right? But in this spring quarter, the second quarter of the year, you have the second biggest holiday of the year, which is Mother's Day, but you also have weddings, you have graduations, end of school year, Mother's Day, Father's Day, babies being born. There's all kinds of special events, reunions. There's all kinds of things that you can be thinking about and really marketing towards. So don't forget about that. It is a big quarter of the year. So let's dive in today and let's talk about spring cleaning for your business. I've got about 5 or 6 key categories that I think are really important, and maybe some that you haven't really thought of. And what happens a lot is we think all year long that we need to do it, but we wait to the end of the year, and then so much comes onto you at the end of the year, and you've got the holidays, and then you just don't do it. And then you go into a new year dragging around this old stuff with you. So that's why doing it in the spring and really resetting yourself is a perfect time to sort of take notice of your business. It also will set you up in having a better system in place for your taxes for the following year. So it can be extremely helpful. So let's start with number 1. Let's start simple and work our way up to some of the bigger things that you want to take a look at. Email, super simple, your own personal email. So not a CRM, just your email. It's always good to go through your inbox. Make sure that you've looked at any emails that haven't been opened. Try to reset that to 0. Try to come up with a new system to have it at 0 every single day. I know I'm able to do that. I'm a little bit off right now. I'll have 100 in there at any given time. But there was a time where there was 2,500 unread messages, and it can become overwhelming. I know somebody just shared with me recently that they had 10,000 unread messages. That's a problem. So there was a time where I had thousands, and I had an assistant that just went, if you haven't looked at it or you don't need it, she just erased all of it. And I was so upset. But at the same time, gosh, I have to tell you, there was a freedom that I can't even begin to say when she did that. I almost had a heart attack. She was a fairly new person, and she just made the decision to do it herself and just got rid of all of them. And at first, like I said, I was upset, but then I felt a freedom that I can't even describe, and it was every day. And I got excited about going in and actually doing something with the emails, like opening them, either putting them in a folder, saving them, deleting them, whatever you need to do. So that's one piece in your own personal, and it's always good to reset. So if you've got too much coming into your inbox, a lot of times it's because of different things you've subscribed to. It's a good time to go through and unsubscribe to things that you're not even paying attention to, that are not important. Maybe you just signed up to get a free download of something or to get some information on something and you found you really don't enjoy these emails, then unsubscribe. So that's always really wonderful, because then you have less junk coming into your email. The other thing, and I know that some people are very successful with this, but having things automatically go to folders. And I did that for a while, and I would forget to check all of my folders, and I ended up sort of missing some things. So you can have folders set up so that if you want to save a particular email, then you can put them in specific folders. So it might be a good time to just sort of reorganize your folders on your desktop or phone as well. All right, next is your email list, which is more your CRM that you have. And it's always a good idea to go in and just do an audit of that, merge any duplicates that you have, remove any stale leads. We always do a sweep of our list and just like clean out anybody that's not opened it for however long and not interested, or we segment them into a different list. So we don't email them on a regular basis. We might just email them at a certain campaigns. And so that's always a good idea too, is to tag your different customers, resegment your customers based on their value, like how often they're opening or purchasing from you, and you can go from there. So this is a good time to reevaluate your email list. Number 3 is operations and processes. So it's a good idea to just look at what your operations and processes are, especially if you have employees. I can remember we would do things a certain way, and then I would hire other employees and I would give them like part of a task. And the next thing you know, like 5 different people are handling one operation, like it's touching 5 different hands, and that's not good. So it's really good to just say, you know what, we're going to reevaluate this, and we're going to put you 100% in charge of this operation or this process. Now we're going to give you a new task, because as people start to learn things too, and they've been with your team for a while, you start to see that they have new strengths and that they actually could be more suited doing maybe a different job, or you can put them in charge of something. And it's always good too, when you've got a small team, is to give people opportunities to work on other things, to keep it fresh and keep it new, and people don't get stale. So it's always good to take a look at your operations and your processes. Check at where your revenue is being generated. So look at those income streams. I talked about 4 income streams last week. So if you didn't get to see it, you might want to check that out. So creating multiple streams of income within your business. But now you want to do an audit of that. And where is the largest amount of income coming from? And if there's one that isn't doing well, this is time to maybe say, oh, let's not put our energy into that. Let's create a different stream of income. You might need to make room for a new one if one just is not performing. So that's going to be important as well. Check and see what percentage of, typically there's that 20-80 rule. So 80% of your income will come from 20% of your activities. So maybe think about like, how could we increase that? How could we make that different? Make sure that you're not putting 80% of activities only to get a 20% return. That would not be good either. So it's good to do an audit of those processes and where's the income being generated from, like which segment of your business, which income stream. Number 4, well, that one's pretty simple, and that's actual real spring cleaning. So like tidying up your workspace. So it's always good to reorganize, because a lot of times as the year gets going and files get pulled and projects get handled, it's like things get left out. It's always a good time to sort of reset, refile, get rid of things that you don't need. I like to restock things like supplies and make sure that all of our supplies are full. We've got paper, staples, paper clips, all the things that we might need here to run an efficient office, and so that you're realizing that you're not running out. I always had my sort of manager in my office. She sort of did that and handled everything. But then after COVID and more people working remote, and then I don't have as many employees that actually come into the office, many of them are remote workers. And so I have to go through and check to make sure, do I have the things that I need? Are things stocked on shelves to make things easy? The gal that does my shipping is on vacation this week. And so I went down to fill orders and I had a hard time finding the things. A lot of the things on the shelves weren't fully stocked. And so I thought, gosh, we've got to make sure that we do that, because if that person suddenly something happened and never came back to work again, we would have to need a new person to come in, and I would need those things stocked. For me, I knew where to go find things and where things are, but it took me way more time to fill the orders because I was running out to the garage, getting a new box of some supplies that weren't stocked. So just sort of reorganizing your supplies in your workspace and making sure that things run efficiently. Anytime that you have to spend more time hunting for something or going in 5 different places and getting something, it just wastes so much time. It just wastes so much more time in a day. So tidy your physical space, clean it up. Maybe it's time to even spruce it up with some new decor. It just might be time. I really need to get new carpet in here, or I need to just pull the carpet out and maybe do like a wood floor throughout the whole space. I have to sort of decide on that. But that's something that needs to be done. And it's a matter of just saying, okay, we're going to do this. The other thing is your financial and cash flow and expenditures. So do an audit. And the first thing that I would say is do an audit of your expenditures. Are there things that you don't no longer use, like tools that you have a subscription on that you don't even realize? It's really interesting. I've done this. It's been by accident a couple of times, but I just had a credit card that was compromised. And it's so funny because it's a good wake-up call. So I had a credit card that was compromised, and on that credit card, we have a lot of subscriptions for different tools and resources that we've gotten along the way. And so just this last week alone, because of that, I had several that said, we were unable to charge your card because that card's been canceled, right? And I haven't set up all of my subscriptions on the new card. And so I got several. In 1 week, there were several. And there were at least 4 in there that I was like, why am I paying for this? Like, oh my gosh, I didn't even know I was still getting this. And so that's happened to me a couple of times where a credit card's been compromised and we've had to cancel it and then get a new one. And that's when I usually find out. But be purposeful in it and just say, I'm going to do an audit of what's being charged on my card and what subscriptions I have, and do I even need these any longer? A lot of times, especially if you have employees, they say, oh, I really like Usana, or I really like Slack, or I really like, there's so many different platforms and different things you can use for communicating or organizing your projects with a team. And you might end up paying for 3 or 4 because that was their preference, and then they left, and then somebody else comes in and they have a new preference, and so you pay for that. And the next thing you know, you've got several that aren't even being used. So make sure that you are checking those, because you don't want expenditures that you really don't need to have. All right. The next one is your sales and marketing. So kind of go through and first of all, check your digital presence. And the first and biggest thing, of course, is your website. It's always good to take a sweep through your website. Do you have campaigns on there that no longer exist or are outdated? You want to remove those. And sometimes things just get left on and you forget to take it off. And next thing you know, you've got something from 2 years ago that isn't even available right now or isn't current. It makes it look like you're not up to date on your business. When people look at your website and you've got something like buy our 2023 program or sign up now for this 2023 challenge, people say, what kind of company or business is this? And you're not even aware that that is still on there. So make sure that you go through your website. Make sure you take off any outdated campaigns or programs or products that you're no longer offering or using or that have dates on them. The next thing is check all your links, because things are weird. They get broken along the way. They worked and then somehow they got disabled, and maybe then when they got reactivated, they're broken. So make sure that if you've got a link somewhere on special social media presence, make sure that that link is linking them back. Make sure that that link on your website, if you have a link to, for information or for whatever it is, just go through and check, because you want your customer experience to be amazing. I just recently did an audit of mine, and because I've had kind of a little bit of a changeover with people and they're working remotely and they're not here communicating with me, which is how I ran the office for so many years, there's lots of things that just had been overlooked and weren't working. And so we kind of did a fix up and an audit of our website and some other things. And it was eye-opening, to be honest with you. So doing that in the spring is always a good idea. So look at your sales and marketing, your website, then look at your social media. Do you need to change something on there? Do you need to change anything about your bio? Or do you need to, if you have any kind of links on there, make sure that those are active and working, and make sure you're leading people to kind of one space. Like all roads should lead to somewhere. So if you've got all these different links and they're leading people to all different places, that's confusing and you won't create momentum. So make sure all roads lead to somewhere. That's important. All right, so that's your digital presence. And then the last thing that you should be checking is, what are you doing as far as customer retention, customer care? So look at your customer service programs. Are they working? If you have a ticket system, are people caught up in that ticket system? Is there any that have been ignored? Any leads that you have that you need to follow up with? When is the last time you did check-ins or phoned any of your customers? Do you have someone in your team that does that? Just getting some feedback or, making sure that people feel valued. So what customer service programs do you have in place? Are they up to date? Do you need to enact a new one? Maybe you need to refresh that and just reconnect with your customers. So that is a good spring cleaning checklist for your business, because just as you get that renewed energy for your home and outdoors and doing all the fun things for summer, you can get that renewed energy for your business as well. And I want you to have an amazing second quarter. So hope you enjoyed this. If you liked what you heard today, just click like. Don't forget to subscribe so you don't miss out on any of the great videos that we are doing. And if this was helpful to you and you can think of someone else it might be helpful to, don't forget to share. Thanks, everyone, and we'll see you later this week when we are going to talk about creating a dumpster mindset and what can getting a dumpster really do for you. It's going to be a fun one, so make sure you check in. That'll be Wednesday. Bye.